Don't start your day until you've finished it in your mind. That's a powerful idea because it reminds you that focus isn't an accident. It's a decision. And in today's world, if you don't decide where your attention goes, something else will. That's why you've got to become so focused that the noise can't even find you. Not just focused for an hour, not just when it feels good, but focused every single day on what actually builds your life. That's how results happen. This video will walk you through a full shift in how you think, how you plan, and how you act. You'll learn how to protect your energy. You'll learn how to stick with your goals when the world gets noisy. You'll learn how to train your mind to stay locked in while others drift. And if you're serious about getting ahead, this message will hit you where it counts. Not just theory, real steps, real mindset, built to help you win in the real world. Stay locked in. This is for you. Number 1, strengthen your mind to resist noise and pressure. Be so focused that noise can't find you. That's not just a catchy line, that's a way of life. And it starts with one simple but powerful idea. Strengthen your mind to resist noise and pressure. Not once, not sometimes, but every single day. Because the truth is, life isn't going to wait for you to get ready. The distractions won't disappear just because you've got dreams. The pressure won't ease up just because you've decided to be serious. If anything, the moment you choose to focus on your growth, the world gets louder. That's why you've got to get stronger, not just physically or financially, but mentally. You've got to develop the kind of mindset that doesn't crack when things get tough. The kind of focus that stays locked in even when everything around you is trying to pull you off track. You see, most people don't struggle because they don't have dreams. They struggle because they don't have the mental discipline to protect those dreams. And that's not something you're born with. That's something you build. Day by day, decision by decision, you build it when you stop reacting to everything and start choosing your responses. You build it when you stop letting every opinion, every update, every little distraction grab your attention. A strong mind doesn't come from comfort. It comes from control. Control over what you allow in, what you give time to, what you believe, and how you respond when life throws something unexpected at you. Think about it. How many times have you been right in the middle of something important? Something that could change your life, and suddenly your phone lights up. A message, a notification, a headline that doesn't matter at all 5 minutes later. But it pulled you away. It took your focus. Not because it was powerful, but because your mind wasn't trained to ignore it. That's what pressure does. That's what noise does. It tests the strength of your mind. It doesn't care how motivated you felt this morning. It wants to know how focused you are right now in this moment when staying on track feels harder than giving up. So if you're serious about your goals, then this is the reality. You can't keep running from discomfort. You can't keep waiting for the perfect time or the perfect setting. You need to get stronger now. You need to start responding to pressure with purpose. Because once you train your mind to stay focused under pressure, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who finishes things, who follows through, who keeps their head clear even when the world is shouting in every direction. But here's where most people go wrong. They think mental strength means being emotionless or cold. That's not it. It's not about shutting down your feelings. It's about not letting your feelings run your life. You can feel frustrated and still keep working. You can feel tired and still show up. You can feel overwhelmed and still take the next right step. That's what it means to have a strong mind. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about making decisions based on where you want to go, not how you feel in the moment. Now, how do you start building that strength? You build it through small choices that most people ignore. You build it by doing the hard thing first, by turning off what doesn't serve you, by sitting in silence sometimes and asking yourself what really matters. You build it by practicing self-retrain when no one's watching. That means waking up and sticking to your plan, even when you'd rather scroll. It means shutting the door, turning the phone face down, and focusing. Not once, but as a routine, as a way of living. Because if you only focus when it's convenient, you'll never build anything lasting. The mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it gets weak. And in a world filled with noise, a weak mind gets overwhelmed fast. You'll notice yourself starting 10 things and finishing none. You'll see yourself jumping from one idea to the next, chasing inspiration, but never doing the actual work. That's what noise does. It scatters you. But when your mind is strong, you stay rooted. You know your path. You don't need constant motivation because you've got clarity, and clarity is stronger than noise. And let me say this clearly. Strengthening your mind isn't about being perfect. You're gonna have off days. You'll lose focus sometimes. That's normal. What matters is how fast you bring yourself back. What matters. What matters is not giving up just because you slipped up. Strong people make mistakes. They just don't stay stuck in them. They know how to reset, refocus, realign. That's part of the mental discipline too. Catching yourself quickly when you drift. When you live with this kind of focus, something amazing happens. The noise stops chasing you. The pressure loses its grip. Why? Because you've trained yourself not to give it power. You're no longer reacting, you're leading. You're no longer drained, you're driving. And when that shift happens, everything changes. Your results get better. Your confidence rises. Your time starts working for you instead of against you. And most of all, you begin to feel peace, not because life is easier, but because your mind is stronger. So if you want real progress, start there. Don't wait for the noise to disappear. It won't. Don't wait for the pressure to stop. It won't. Start building a mind that can handle it. Start creating a level of focus that nothing can break. Strengthen your mind every day by showing up, by staying true to your priorities, by saying no to things that don't help you grow. The world is loud, it's busy, it's full of distractions. But none of that matters when your mind is clear, focused, and ready. Be so focused that noise doesn't even try to find you, because it knows it won't get in. Number 2, spend more time alone to think clearly. There's something powerful that happens when you stop trying to keep up with everything and everyone, and finally give yourself permission to step away from the noise, not to escape the world, but to understand yourself better. Spending time alone isn't something to avoid, it's something to value. Because when life gets busy, the first thing that usually gets lost is your own voice. You start reacting instead of thinking. You chase activity instead of clarity. And before you know it, your mind is cluttered with things that don't belong to you. Other people's opinions, other people's goals, other people's expectations. That's why alone time matters. That's why thinking time matters, not for isolation, but for direction. Because when you can hear yourself again, that's when you remember what matters most. In this fast-moving world, silence has become rare. But silence is where real answers live. You don't find focus in a crowd. You find it in quiet. That's where you get to process what you're doing, why you're doing it, and whether or not it's taking you where you want to go. That's where you start to see the difference between what looks good and what feels right. And the more you practice this, the more confident you become. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that comes from knowing who you are without needing to prove it. The kind that doesn't get shaken just because someone else doesn't understand your journey. That kind of inner peace doesn't come from scrolling or talking. It comes from sitting with yourself and paying attention. Most people fill every gap of silence with stimulation. Music, messages, noise, something playing in the background. They're not comfortable being alone with their own thoughts. But that's exactly the problem. If you're not okay being alone, you're always going to need something outside of you to feel okay. And when that's the case, it's easy to get manipulated. It's easy to be pulled in a direction you didn't choose. That's why solitude isn't a weakness. It's a skill. It's the ability to be with your thoughts without being afraid of them. To let your mind clear out all the junk that builds up. It's not always comfortable. Sometimes it brings up things you've been avoiding, but that's part of growth. Facing what's real so you can improve what matters. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you begin to get selective with who and what you give your time to. You stop chasing relationships just to fill space. You stop saying yes to things that don't align with your values. You stop tolerating noise that serves no purpose. Instead, you get intentional. You start moving with clarity, not confusion. You stop following the crowd and start building your own path. And this doesn't require a retreat or a perfect routine. It just requires you to take a step back regularly, to unplug, to reflect, to reset. Even 10 minutes a day can change the entire direction of your life if you use that time to listen to yourself. Thinking clearly doesn't happen in chaos. It doesn't come when you're bouncing from one task to another without rest. It comes when you create room for it. Just like your body needs sleep to reset, your mind needs stillness to think. You can't expect to make the right decisions when your head is full of other people's noise. You can't grow into the person you want to be if you never stop to ask yourself what that person looks like. That's why solitude is so important. It's not wasted time. It's essential time. Time to ask the tough questions. Time to plan your next steps. Time to catch your breath and line up your thinking with your goals. Now, this doesn't mean you cut people off or isolate yourself completely. It means you create balance. You create space in your day that belongs to you. Space that isn't filled with demands or notifications. This is your time to be honest with yourself. Are you moving forward or just staying busy? Are you growing or just getting by? Are you living a life you designed or one that just happened to you? These answers don't show up in noise. They show up in reflection. They show up in solitude. They show up when you're brave enough to face your own mind without distractions. The more time you spend alone thinking clearly, the better your decisions become. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding intelligently. You stop wasting energy on things that drain you. You stop second-guessing yourself every time someone disagrees, because you've already taken time to work through your ideas, your plans, your purpose. You've already asked yourself what's right for you, and when you've done that kind of thinking in private, it shows up as strength in public. People can feel it. You speak differently. You carry yourself with certainty. You no longer need to over-explain because you're clear inside. Don't wait for life to slow down to create space for this. Make it a part of your routine. Wake up earlier if you have to. Go for walks without your phone. Take short breaks in your day just to breathe and listen. It doesn't need to be complicated. What matters is that you commit to making room for thought. Because when you give yourself that space, ideas flow more freely. You start noticing patterns. You begin solving problems faster. You reconnect with the part of you that wants to grow, not just survive. And slowly the noise starts to fade, not because it disappeared, but because you learn to rise above it. A focused mind isn't just built on action, it's built on reflection. You don't become powerful by always doing, you become powerful by understanding, and understanding takes time. Time to think, time to process, time to ask yourself if the life you're building still matches the vision you had when you started. Spend more time alone, not to escape, but to connect. Not to isolate, but to understand. Give yourself the gift of clear thought, and you'll start making clearer moves. The kind that don't need validation, the kind that don't need noise, the kind that quietly change everything. Number 3, write your goals down and look at them often. If you want to live with purpose, you need direction. And direction doesn't come from memory, it comes from clarity. And the best way to get clarity is to write your goals down. Don't leave them floating around in your head with your to-do lists and your grocery reminders. Pull them out and put them on paper. When you write a goal, you make a decision. You stop wishing and you start building. The act of writing makes you accountable. It tells your mind, I'm serious. It's no longer just a feeling, it becomes a plan. Every time you look at your written goals, you remind yourself why your discipline matters. You remember why you're saying no to some things and yes to others. And those reminders are crucial because let's face it, life is distracting. Days get full. Stress shows up. And without something in front of you that says this is what we're working for, it's easy to lose track. So make it visual. Keep your goals in plain sight, tape them to your mirror, set them as a lock screen, put them wherever your eyes go when your mind starts to wander. Writing goals is more than writing words. It's about designing your life on purpose. Most people never take that step. They think about what they want, but they never take the 5 minutes to put it down in clear language. Don't be like most people. When you write your goals, they become tools. They become daily instructions. They keep your emotions from taking over. They help you measure progress. They create structure. That kind of thinking is what separates success from regret. And the good news, anyone can do it. You just have to choose to. Now, not every goal needs to be grand. Sometimes it's just about staying consistent. Sometimes it's about character. Maybe your goal is to be more focused. Maybe it's to spend an hour reading each day. Whatever it is, get specific. Write it like it already belongs to you. The clearer your goal, the easier it becomes to take the next step. Vague goals don't get finished, they get postponed. So be clear, be direct, be honest. If you want to wake up early, write the exact time. If you want to save money, write the amount. When goals are written, they keep you centered. They act like a compass. You won't be easily pulled off course when distractions show up. You won't fall into every opportunity that shows up just because it looks good. You'll have something stronger guiding you. You'll move with purpose, not pressure. That's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who grow. Written goals keep your eyes forward. They help you filter what's useful and what's just noise. That's how progress is made, step by step, but always in the right direction. The habit of looking at your goals daily trains your mind to align your actions with your intentions. It sets the tone before the day begins. It reminds you that every small effort counts. If your goal is top of mind, you'll notice how you spend your time. You'll catch yourself before wasting it. You'll see where you need to improve. The power of repetition is real. Read something long enough and you begin to believe it. Focus on your goals long enough and you begin to live them. That's how change happens, through awareness, not accident. Some days your goals will encourage you, other days they will correct you, and both are important. When you're moving in the right direction, your goal serves as a reward. When you've drifted, it pulls you back. That's why reviewing them often is key. It's not about pressure, it's about reflection. It's about asking yourself, am I still on track? If not, adjust. That's the beauty of a written goal. It's flexible. You can refine it, you can improve it, but only if you're willing to revisit it regularly. Writing your goals gives you power over your life. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. You stop making excuses. You take control. Goals give you permission to let go of what doesn't fit anymore. Old habits, old thinking, old routines, because now you're working towards something specific, something personal, something worth your time. You're no longer just passing time, you're using time. That shift in mindset changes everything. It gives you urgency, it gives you patience, it gives you purpose. And that's what most people are missing. Clear direction. Looking at your written goals each day doesn't just change your results, it changes how you see yourself. You begin to act in alignment with your intentions. You stop seeking approval for every move. You don't need applause to feel proud. You already know you're on the right track. That kind of confidence doesn't come from other people. It comes from inner alignment. When what you do matches what you've written, something clicks inside. You're no longer waiting, you're becoming. Quietly, consistently, powerfully. And that's the path to real success. You don't need to write 100 things. Start with 3. Write them with belief. Look at them every day. Let them shape your focus. Let them remind you who you're becoming. And when you reach one, write a new one. Keep growing. Keep adjusting. Keep moving forward with purpose. Because the truth is, goals don't work unless you do. But if you take this simple habit seriously, writing your goals and reviewing them, you will stay on course while others drift. You'll make progress while others procrastinate. And one day, what you wrote will be the life you're living. Number 4, give your full attention to what builds your life. When you give your full attention to something, it grows. That's the rule. Energy flows where focus goes. So if you want a better life, you need to put your focus on the things that build it. Not just on what's urgent, not just on what's popular. You must choose to give your best attention to what actually improves your future. That's how progress is made, by choosing quality over distraction. It's not enough to be busy. A lot of people are busy and still going nowhere. It's where your attention lands that determines if you're building something that lasts. Start paying attention to what feeds your growth. Look at your time, your habits, your surroundings. Are you spending energy on things that strengthen your character, develop your skills, move your goals forward? Or are you scattered, jumping from one thing to another, letting noise lead your day? Every hour you give to something useless is an hour taken away from what could have built your life. Choose better. Attention is a resource, and once it's gone, you don't get it back. When you respect your focus, your results start to change. That's how self-respect shows up, through attention. It's easy to give your time to entertainment, easy to chase comfort, easy to react to notifications, news, and endless opinions. But none of that builds your future. What builds your life is deliberate effort, aimed in the right direction. That means choosing what matters. Learning, growing, building, contributing. There's no magic in this, just decisions. Thousands of small decisions to keep your attention on things that bring you forward, not backwards. Attention is not a feeling. It's not about whether you're excited today. It's about commitment, giving your full effort even when the spark isn't there. You don't need to do 100 things. You need to do the right things with full focus. Partial attention brings partial results. That's the truth most won't tell you. If you work with one eye on your phone, your results will reflect that. If you listen but don't hear, read but don't learn, show up but don't engage, nothing meaningful happens. People who get ahead in life are the ones who show up with their full mind, not just their body. They're present. They're intentional. They don't waste effort. They know how to give something their full energy. Your attention has value. That's why so many things are fighting for it. Every app, every headline, every trend, they all want a piece of you, but you've got to protect it. Treat it like it's sacred. Because what gets your attention gets your life. If all your attention goes to gossip, negativity, or drama, guess what you'll experience? But if you put that same attention into building something, your business, your health, your mindset, you'll feel the difference in your results, in your peace, in your direction. Give your attention to what deserves it, not what demands it. Nothing works without focus. Relationships, goals, health. If you give them scraps of your time, you'll get scraps in return. Full attention creates full impact. It's not just about working harder. It's about being fully present while you work. There's something powerful about giving a task your undivided focus. You finish faster, you learn deeper, you improve faster. Multitasking looks productive but slows you down. It splits your energy. It makes things take longer. Give your all to one thing at a time. That's how you get further in less time. With full presence, not scattered effort. You can't move forward when your mind is stuck in 5 directions. You need clarity. And clarity comes from eliminating the things that pull you away from your purpose. When you focus on the right areas, your discipline, your learning, your goals, you stop being pulled around by distractions. You stop overthinking. You stop second guessing. You don't need to control everything around you. Just control where you place your attention. That one choice changes how you experience each day. It sharpens your awareness. It gives you the power to choose what matters and let go of what doesn't. It's not enough to care. You have to show that care through action. And action without attention is useless. How many people say they want a better life but spend hours a day avoiding it? They scroll, they procrastinate, they wish, but they don't focus. Real change begins with focus. That's where momentum starts. With one task done with intention, then another, and another. And over time, those small, focused steps build a new direction. Don't confuse motion with progress. If it doesn't build your life, it's not worth your focus. Some things you're doing right now are just stealing your potential, not because they're evil or wrong, but because they're pointless. They keep you busy without bringing you forward. Start paying attention to that. Watch your day like an investor watches money. Where's the return? What's bringing value back to you? What's draining you? Once you become aware of that, it's easier to shift. You'll start choosing books over noise, strategy over drama, discipline over ease. And that shift, that one small shift in attention, can completely change your direction in the next year. This isn't about being perfect. You'll get distracted sometimes, and that's part of the process. The goal isn't to never slip. The goal is to keep returning to what matters. To notice when your focus drifts and pull it back. To remember why you started. Every day you make the choice, give your best to things that build your life or waste your energy on things that don't. When you learn to give your full attention to what builds your life, everything else gets easier. Your habits improve, your results improve, and most importantly, your life begins to reflect your effort. Number 5, make your progress so strong it silences everything. When your progress is real, you don't have to explain much. You don't need to argue. You don't need to beg anyone to believe in you. Results speak louder than promises. When the work shows, the noise fades. That's why your best move is to focus on becoming so consistent, so steady, that no one can deny your direction. The more results you stack, the less pressure you feel from opinions, distractions, or criticism. It's not about being loud. It's about becoming undeniable through discipline, effort, and patience. Progress doesn't shout, it proves. Let your growth do the talking. There's something powerful about quiet progress. You don't need to post every move, tell everyone your plans, or react to every comment. What you need is a schedule, a plan, and the will to follow through. Most people are too busy reacting to noise. They waste time trying to win approval instead of building results. But when your actions line up, when your days are filled with meaningful effort, the distractions start to disappear. People who once doubted you start watching, not because you told them to, but because results are impossible to ignore for long. Real progress isn't built on motivation. It's built on structure. It's built on habits. Wake up, do the work, improve. That's how momentum begins. And when you stay with it, day after day, you'll find that progress builds speed. It starts slow, but it grows. People who laughed stop laughing. People who ignored start paying attention. The world may not applaud right away, but that's not the point. The point is, when your progress becomes clear, you won't need applause. You'll already know the truth. This path is working. This effort is real. That's all you ever needed. Some people want to talk about progress more than they want to earn it. That's not how this works. You can't skip the work and expect the reward. You can't avoid the discipline and expect the confidence. But when you commit, really commit, your work becomes proof. You build quiet wins. You improve steadily. You don't need to prove anything with your words. The outcome becomes your evidence. And it's hard to argue with evidence. That's why your greatest response to doubt is progress. Let your consistency make the noise disappear. Most of the world is focused on attention. But attention doesn't mean you're getting better. Progress means you're getting better. And that progress becomes a shield. It protects you from opinions. It clears your mind. Because when you know you're moving forward, you don't have time to stop and argue. You've got work to do. You've got goals to hit. And the only thing louder than someone talking is someone building. Stay in that zone. Let the talkers talk. You stay focused. In time, the difference between you and them becomes too wide to ignore. There's something satisfying about seeing your results stack up, not just on paper, but in how you feel, how you think, how you carry yourself. Progress changes your posture. You walk differently when you know you've earned it. It shows up in how you speak, how you work, and how you move through setbacks. That confidence doesn't come from hype. It comes from progress. Not one big moment, but small, steady improvement. Bit by bit, you keep showing up. You keep growing. And the day will come when people stop questioning your path because your growth makes the case. Progress is also the answer to your own doubts. Sometimes the loudest voice isn't from others. It's in your own head. But every day you move forward, those doubts lose power. Action weakens fear. Progress quiets confusion. And soon, the doubts get smaller, not because you ignored them, but because you proved them wrong. You've got to build that kind of evidence for yourself. Nobody can do it for you. Progress is personal. It belongs to the one who earned it. So earn it. Day by day. Step by step. It adds up. Always does. Silence comes naturally when your work speaks. The critics fade, the doubters disappear. Because eventually it's hard to talk over success. It may take time. It may take patience. But if you stay in motion, you create something unshakable. The noise can't compete with real results. The chatter fades. The spotlight shifts. You didn't win the argument. You didn't have to. You just became consistent enough that nothing else needed to be said. That's the level of focus you want. Let your results walk ahead of your words. Let your actions clear the room. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than you were last month. It's about measuring against your own standard and pushing that standard higher. When you're dialed in on your own improvement, distractions lose their grip. You stop chasing trends. You stop trying to keep up with everyone else. Because you've got your own scoreboard. You've got your own blueprint. That's the freedom progress gives you. You create a rhythm that no outside noise can interrupt. Make your life so productive, so full of purpose, that there's no room left for nonsense. Use your time, use your mind, use your discipline. Build something you're proud of. Let your results create peace. Because when you're making real progress, the outside world gets quiet. Not because it changed, but because you did. You stopped reacting and started building. You stopped explaining and started producing. And in that process, the only thing left standing is what you built with effort, focus, and time. Make your progress so strong that the rest just fades away. Number 6. Work so consistently that distractions get tired. If you want to get ahead in life, consistency is the key that unlocks every door. Not talent, not luck, not waiting for the right moment. It's showing up again and again with intention. The truth is, most people lose to distraction, not because they're weak, but because they're inconsistent. They work hard for a day, then disappear for a week. They start strong, then drift when it gets dull. But when you work with steady focus, distractions lose their power. They get tired of trying to pull you away. They give up because you no longer give in. Distractions aren't always loud. Sometimes they come disguised as good ideas, as things that feel urgent but aren't important. And if you're not consistent, you'll keep switching paths every time something new shows up. That's why you must build a rhythm, a personal standard that doesn't need permission or applause. One where the process matters more than your mood. If you only work when it feels exciting, you'll never last. But if you stay the course day after day, even when it's quiet, you build momentum. And that momentum makes you unstoppable. There's something powerful about a person who works whether it's raining or shining, whether they feel like it or not. Not because they're superhuman, but because they've decided that showing up matters more than how they feel. That decision removes confusion, it removes the need to negotiate with yourself, and it creates an identity, one that says, I'm consistent. Once that becomes your reputation, distractions lose interest. They stop showing up because you're not available to them. You're too busy doing what you said you'd do, building what you said you would build. Progress favors the one who stays in motion. You don't need to sprint, you just need to keep going. Set a pace you can sustain and protect it. Let others chase every shiny object. Let them burn out jumping from one thing to the next. You stay grounded. You commit. You develop routines that lock you in. Not routines that feel rigid, but routines that give you peace. That peace comes from knowing what needs to be done and doing it with purpose. That's how you gain control over your life. Some people wait for motivation every morning like it's a bus that's running late. But the real ones get up and move whether the motivation is there or not. They've trained themselves to treat consistency like a job that always pays, even if the check doesn't come today. When you start thinking like that, you'll notice your distractions start losing their grip. That voice that used to pull you toward comfort will start getting quieter because it knows you won't answer. It knows your time already has a purpose, and purpose beats distraction every time. Success never comes from what you do once. It comes from what you do every day. That's why repetition matters. Each time you repeat something meaningful, you deepen your ability to do it well. That's how mastery is formed, not from bursts of intensity, but from years of discipline. And when you stay consistent long enough, the distractions that once knocked you off course become laughable. You don't fall for the same tricks anymore. You've seen them, you've beat them. And now your consistency creates a wall they can't get through. Even boredom has a role to play in your growth. There will be days when the work feels dull, when the process feels repetitive, when the spark fades. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign to stay. Because most people leave right before the reward shows up. If you can stay consistent through the dull moments, you'll find that results start showing up faster than you expected. And while others are still waiting for perfect conditions, you've built a record of effort that speaks for itself. Distractions don't last in that environment. Building a consistent life doesn't require you to be perfect. It just requires you to return every time you slip. You missed a day? Get back up. Lost focus for an hour? Re-engage. It's not about avoiding every mistake. It's about not letting those mistakes turn into habits. When you keep returning to the work, to the path, to the plan, you're telling distraction it can't win. You're telling yourself that this matters. And when you keep showing up with that mindset, everything around you begins to align with your discipline. Time rewards those who respect it. And respecting time means being consistent with how you use it. You can't build something meaningful on leftovers. Leftover energy, leftover time, leftover attention. You need to give your best while you have it. That doesn't mean burning out, it means being intentional. Block the noise, create systems that make it easy to focus. Build routines that support your energy, not drain it. And most importantly, make consistency part of your identity. The kind where even if the world shifts, your rhythm stays grounded. When you work with unwavering consistency, you'll find peace in your pace. Not because things get easier, but because you get better. You don't react to every notification. You don't stop every time something uncomfortable shows up. You've trained your focus. You've built your own lane. And while distractions may still knock, they don't stay long. They realize you're not who you used to be. You've become consistent enough to ignore them, quiet enough to hear yourself, strong enough to keep going. And that's how you outlast anything, by working so steadily, even distractions give up. Number 7, stay on track even when others fall off. Staying on track is easy when everyone around you is moving in the same direction. But that's not the real test. The real test shows up when the people who started with you begin to slow down, when the group thins out, when the enthusiasm fades. That's when your personal resolve takes center stage. Can you still hold the line when the crowd walks away? Can you stay steady when it feels like you're walking alone? If the answer is yes, that's when you rise. They'll come with moments when others quit. They'll say it's too hard or not worth it, or that they'll come back later. And while it's tempting to pause with them, you have to decide, what matters more, their comfort or your commitment? Growth isn't always social. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it looks like showing up when nobody else does. Sometimes it means eating differently, working longer, or spending weekends studying while others are relaxing. It's not punishment, it's investment. Stay the course. They'll circle back eventually, but you'll be further by then. There will be times when quitting seems logical, not because you're weak, but because it feels like nobody else cares as much. You'll look around and see others slacking off, breaking their promises, skipping steps. That's your aha moment to tighten up not let go. Just because they've lowered their standards doesn't mean you should. You weren't built for average. You were built for impact. That takes a stronger spine than most are willing to grow. But if you can walk forward when others slow down, the gap between you and them won't just grow, it'll stay permanent. Discipline is what keeps your train on the track when the noise around you says, take the exit. Most people love progress when it's exciting, but they disappear when it turns into repetition. They fall off when it's time to go from interested to committed. That's when you need to double down. You're not in it for entertainment, you're in it to transform your life. That takes consistency. You can inspire, you can lead by example. But at the end of the day, your goals belong to you. If you're always waiting for someone else to catch up, you'll miss your own breakthrough. Let people choose their pace. You choose yours. And once that becomes your mindset, everything becomes clearer. You stop seeking agreement. You stop asking for constant validation. You build regardless. You move forward, even in silence. Because you know what staying on track does? It separates you from those who only talk about getting somewhere. It's easy to get discouraged when people around you quit. They started strong, they talked big, they had all the excitement in the beginning, but now they're gone and you're still here. Don't take it personally. Most people underestimate what it takes to stay committed. They think motivation will carry them, but that runs out. That's why staying on track isn't about inspiration. It's about having a clear reason for why you started. When you carry that reason with you, you don't stop just because someone else did. You keep going, not for them, but for you. You don't get stronger by quitting when others do. You get stronger by choosing discipline when it feels unnecessary. There will always be someone stepping off the path. That has nothing to do with your race. Stay grounded in your routine. Trust the habits that have carried you this far. Don't let someone's detour turn into your excuse. This journey will have lonely stretches. Embrace them. That solitude teaches focus, it teaches resilience, and if you use it well, it turns you into someone who doesn't need the group to stay grounded. Don't slow down just because the crowd got quiet. Progress is personal. Not everyone is going where you're going. Some people start the journey with you, but they're not meant to finish it with you. That's life. Don't fight that truth. Accept it and use it. Use it to fuel your independence. Use it to sharpen your commitment. Let go of the need to always be understood or surrounded. Some seasons will require solo work. Some milestones are meant to be reached in silence, but the reward, clarity, confidence, peace will always be worth it. Think back to every goal you ever quit because someone else quit first. Was it worth it? Probably not. Regret shows up when you stop honoring your path. So this time, choose better. Stay the course, even when it's uncomfortable. Stick to the plan, even when the crowd disappears. Nothing great is ever built by convenience. It's built by consistency, by showing up after the applause fades, by working after the excitement wears off. This is where transformation lives. In the quiet, in the lonely effort, in the decision to keep going without waiting for company. You don't need a crowd to confirm your direction. You need clarity and the strength to stay with it. Let others take breaks. Let them sleep in. Let them make excuses. You don't have to say a word. Your consistency will say everything. And one day, the same people who fell off will wonder how you got so far. The answer won't be magic. It won't be talent. It will be because you stayed on track. When they quit, you kept moving. When they paused, you pushed. And that's what makes the difference, always. Number 8, say no fast so you can say yes better. If you want to live with clarity, you have to learn how to say no quickly and without guilt. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. People don't fail because of lack of opportunity. They fail because they spread themselves too thin. They don't protect their focus. They try to please everybody. But the person who makes real progress is the one who guards their time like it's gold. They know that not every offer is worth accepting. They say no fast so they can say yes when it really counts. The quicker you can say no to what doesn't fit your values, your mission, or your priorities, the quicker you can move in the right direction. Don't waste time overthinking it. If it doesn't move your life forward, it's a no. If it doesn't fit the version of the person you're becoming, it's a no. That fast decision frees up space for better things. People delay too long. They let guilt, pressure, or fear of missing out take control. But winners decide fast and they move on. They don't need to apologize for staying aligned. There's power in boundaries. Not the kind that push people away, but the kind that protect your future. You don't owe everyone access to your energy. You don't have to be available for everything. Learn how to respect your own time. When someone offers you something that sounds good, but doesn't match your purpose, pass on it. That decision is a strength. It shows that you're serious. People will start respecting your yes more when they realize you don't hand it out for free. Let your no be clear so your yes has impact. Success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. That's why you must sort through the noise quickly. You don't have all day to decide. The longer you entertain the wrong things, the more you delay the right thing. Speed matters. Not just in action, but in judgment. When you've taken time to think about what's important, you don't need long to decide what isn't. That sharpness gives you an advantage. You stay light. You stay focused. And best of all, you stay free from distractions disguised as opportunities. One reason people say yes too much is because they're afraid to disappoint. But you've got to decide. Will you live to impress everyone else or build something real for yourself? Saying no doesn't mean being rude, it means being clear. It means understanding that you have a mission, and not every invitation deserves your attention. You can't grow if you keep giving in to everything that pulls you away. Growth requires selective focus. That comes from fast, firm decisions. You're not being harsh, you're being honest. You're being responsible with your time. Not every opportunity is for you. Not every good idea is your assignment. Sometimes you'll be offered things that sound exciting but pull you away from your foundation. That's where people fall. They say yes too quickly to things that feel urgent but aren't aligned. Learn to pause, assess, and walk away if it doesn't fit. Say no with confidence. You won't regret it. Because every no creates space for a better yes. One that supports your goals. One that lifts your standards. One that reinforces who you're becoming. That's how wise people move. Don't explain every no. You don't owe long speeches. If your values are clear, your decisions will be firm. And the people who respect you will understand. The ones who don't, they were never aligned with your future anyway. Clarity creates separation, and that's okay. You can't go far while dragging everyone along. Say no to the habits, people, and distractions that no longer belong. It's not selfish, it's smart. It's what protects your energy, sharpens your decisions, and keeps you on track. When your time matters to you, your yes becomes rare and more valuable. The world is full of noise. You'll be pulled in dozens of directions every day. If you don't have a system for saying no, you'll get swept away by other people's agendas. Don't be reactive, be intentional. Decide ahead of time what deserves your time and stick to it. Keep your standards high. The more clear you are, the easier it becomes to choose. Fast decisions remove stress. They remove overthinking. You'll feel lighter, more grounded, more in control. And that control compounds. It turns into momentum, confidence, and long-term growth. Every yes you give should lead you closer to the life you're building. That's the test. If it doesn't serve that vision, skip it. There are people out there who make tremendous progress simply because they're not distracted. They aren't smarter. They aren't luckier. They're just better at saying no. Not because they're cold, but because they've decided what matters most. And that decision shows up in everything they do. You can have that too, but you've got to stop entertaining everything that feels good and start choosing only what builds your path. So train yourself, not to hesitate, but to recognize quickly. Practice saying no without guilt. Make your no clear, kind, and strong. Do it enough and you'll feel your schedule shift. You'll feel your stress go down. You'll feel your progress pick up speed. Why? Because now your time belongs to you again. That's what fast decisions give you. Freedom. And with that freedom, you're finally able to say yes to the right things, the things that move you, grow you, and honor your future. Say no fast, so your yes can mean something. Number 9, stay locked in until noise forgets your name. The world will always try to get your attention. It will throw distractions your way every day. Opinions, noise, trends, gossip. But if you're serious about building something meaningful, you've got to stay locked in. Not just when it's quiet, but especially when it's loud. The noise doesn't go away just because you're focused. It tests you. It tries to pull you back. But the longer you stay in your lane, the less power the noise has. Eventually, it forgets your name, not because it disappeared, but because you became too focused to hear it anymore. Most people respond to everything. They jump at every notification, every headline, every opinion thrown their way. That's why they struggle to build anything lasting. They haven't learned the skill of staying locked in. It takes strength to ignore what doesn't matter, to keep working when others are talking, to stay focused while others chase attention. But that's where progress lives. When you commit to the work and stop checking if everyone approves, you'll notice something powerful. Your results begin to speak. And the noise, it moves on. It always does. It can't survive where focus lives. You have to know what matters to you. If you don't, every distraction will look important. Every voice will sound convincing, but when you're clear, the noise loses its grip. Staying locked in means protecting your time, your thoughts, and your energy. It means building habits that serve your future, and it means getting comfortable being misunderstood. Some people won't get your focus. They'll question it. They'll mock it. That's fine. Let them. Their confusion is proof that you're doing something rare. The discipline to keep going without applause is a gift. Use it wisely. There's a moment in every journey where you'll feel invisible. Like nobody sees the effort, like no one's clapping. That's the moment to dig in deeper. That silence is not failure, it's growth. It means you've stopped feeding the noise. You're not reacting anymore, you're building. And the world doesn't cheer for that right away. But stay with it, stay consistent. Over time, something shifts. The distractions fade, the opinions quiet down, not because they changed, but because you outlasted them. When you keep showing up with purpose, the noise realizes it's wasting its time. Focus is a decision. It's not something you hope for. It's something you build. You wake up and decide where your attention will go. You choose what gets your time. You define your priorities, and then you act on them, day after day. That's how you become unshakable, not through motivation, but through structure. When your life is filled with purpose, there's no space left for noise. The noise doesn't leave because it feels defeated. It leaves because it can't compete. It can't distract someone who's already committed to something greater. Staying locked in doesn't mean isolation. It means intention. It means surrounding yourself with people who value depth over drama, people who are moving forward. You can't stay focused if your circle feeds on noise. Be mindful of what you allow around you. Stay close to growth. Keep your eyes on your work. Give your best to the small things. Over time, the small things become big wins. And the noise? It fades. Not because you ignored it once, but because you ignored it long enough for it to stop knocking. There's nothing flashy about consistency. That's why most people skip it. But the ones who win, they don't chase attention, they chase improvement. They chase mastery, they chase clarity. That's why they stay locked in while others burn out. They don't need daily excitement, they just need a target. When your days are guided by purpose, you no longer crave noise. You begin to value peace. You begin to honor discipline. And when you live like that, distractions lose interest in you. They can't catch someone who's already moved on. Noise thrives on your reaction. Every time you stop to defend yourself, explain yourself, or seek validation, you give it power. But when you keep building, when you stay quiet and focused, the noise dies out. People get bored when they can't get a reaction. That's your power. Use it. Stay on your path, keep producing, let your work be your reply. Over time, even the loudest critics give up when they see that nothing they say can stop your momentum. That's what staying locked in looks like: peaceful progress, untouched by chaos. Some of the best breakthroughs come when you're deep in focus, long after the crowd has stopped watching. That's when the real work happens. No pressure to perform, no eyes on you, just clarity, effort, and growth. Those are the moments that define your future, not the flashy ones, not the ones where everyone's clapping, the quiet ones, where you chose focus over feedback. Stay in those moments longer. The longer you stay focused, the more distance you create between your results and the noise. Soon, even the loudest voices won't bother calling your name anymore. At some point, you realize the goal isn't to silence the noise. It's to be so committed to your path that it doesn't matter whether it's loud or quiet. You've made your choice. You've picked your direction, and you're not leaving it. Stay locked in long enough, and the distractions run out of tricks. They move on, because they realize what you already knew. You're not available for anything that doesn't build your future. You've trained your focus, disciplined your time, and guarded your peace. That's how you rise. Quietly, steadily, without ever needing to respond. Number 10, choose deep work over shallow rewards every time. The temptation to go for what's easy is everywhere. It's quick, it feels good, and it asks very little of you. But if you keep choosing what's shallow, you'll never get what's deep. Deep work, the kind that moves your life forward, requires patience, focus, and effort. It asks you to go past surface-level tasks and dive into real progress. That's where transformation happens, not in doing 100 small things quickly, but in doing a few important things with full attention. Every time you choose deep work, you build strength. Every time you skip it, you trade growth for convenience. Shallow rewards come fast: likes, comments, attention, temporary applause. They look impressive, but they don't add value. They don't help you become stronger, smarter, or more capable. That's the danger. They trick you into feeling productive while you stay stuck. But deep work builds a foundation. It improves your thinking. It pushes you to challenge yourself. That's why so few people choose it. It's not instantly satisfying. But if you can delay the shallow wins long enough to stay with the process, you'll earn rewards that actually matter, and you'll keep them. Focus is your greatest tool, and deep work depends on it. You can't go deep while distracted. You can't master anything when your mind is always jumping. To work deeply means to commit your mind, your time, and your energy to one thing that matters. No multitasking, no background noise, just you and the task. That kind of focus changes your performance, it raises your standards, and it sharpens your ability to solve real problems. In a world full of shortcuts, depth sets you apart. It builds the kind of skill that makes you valuable everywhere. You get paid for value, not busyness. That's why people who choose deep work often earn more, not just in money, but in respect, trust, and results. Because they've trained themselves to do what most people avoid. They've learned how to go deep into their craft, into their thinking, into their discipline. And that level of depth is rare, but it's not out of reach. It's a choice. You can build it by blocking distractions, saying no more often, and doing fewer things with greater intensity. That's how you shift from surface-level living to serious growth. Shallow tasks feel good in the moment. They're quick to finish, easy to check off, and they give the illusion of progress. But don't confuse motion with meaning. You can spend all day being busy and end it with nothing real to show for it. Deep work takes longer, but it leaves a result you can build on. You grow while doing it. You stretch. And what you finish matters. That's why it's worth the time. Choose it again and again, even when the world around you is choosing easy wins. Your life will thank you later. Deep work is a mindset, not just a method. It's the belief that time spent on the right task matters more than time spent on many tasks. It's the decision to put your whole self into something meaningful. That decision builds character, teaches you to stay still long enough to make something excellent. Not average, excellent. That's the difference between the ones who rise and the ones who stay stuck. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's the habit of showing up every day and diving deep, even when no one's watching and nothing feels exciting. Rewards that come easy don't stick. They fade. They stop satisfying. That's why people who chase shallow wins keep needing more. They keep scrolling, keep posting, keep looking for the next quick rush. But deep work creates lasting change. It creates mastery. It creates progress you can be proud of. Not the kind you have to announce, but the kind you feel. Quiet, solid, earned. That feeling, you don't get it by doing what's easy. You get it by going where most won't, deep, focused, all in. Over time, that choice builds a life that stands tall through anything. The ability to concentrate is a competitive edge. Not many people can sit down, block everything out, and stay with something for an hour or more. But those who can, they make faster progress. They finish what they start. They think more clearly. And when you develop that ability, it shows. People notice. Opportunities shift toward you. You stop chasing and start attracting. All because you made the decision to focus, to dig in, to do deep work when it was easier to settle for surface-level activity. That's how you build real leverage in life. Every time you choose deep work, you vote for your future. You say, I care more about where I'm going than how comfortable I feel today. That's a powerful choice. It's not always easy, but it pays off in every area. Your finances, your confidence, your relationships. Because the same focus that helps you work deeply also helps you live wisely. It helps you listen better, learn faster, lead stronger. So don't wait to feel ready. Set the time. Turn off the noise and give your full effort to something that moves you forward. Start with 1 hour a day. Block everything else out. Pick something that matters and stay with it. Train your mind to resist the shallow. Over time, that hour will become your favorite part of the day, the part where progress feels real, where your energy builds, where distractions lose their grip. That's what deep work gives you, not just results, but control over your focus, over your habits, over your life. In the end, you won't remember the easy tasks you rushed through, but you will remember the work you did deeply, because that's the work that lasts. The noise never really goes away, but you can outgrow it. You can become so consistent, so focused, so committed to your path that distractions lose their grip. That kind of focus doesn't show up overnight. You build it through small decisions, through daily habits, through showing up when nobody's watching. And when you stay locked in long enough, everything begins to change. Your mindset, your results, your future. So if you've been pulled in too many directions, now's the time to take your power back. Choose deep work. Choose clarity. Choose to be the kind of person who doesn't just chase goals, but finishes them. Stay focused on what matters. Let the world talk. Let the noise do what it does. You've got work to do. And one day, your work will speak so loud that nothing else needs to. Stay sharp. Stay steady. And most of all, stay focused.